My name's Doug Rutter. I'm the host of the Rebound Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 3. This is my guest, Mickaël Hanany.
Hi guys, this is Mickaël Hanany, former French athlete in the high jump and founder of the Hanany Olympic project.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
So, all the boring stuff first. Where were you born?
So I was born in France.
France?
Yes, suburb of Paris.
Really? How long did you live there?
Until the age of 20.
Really?
Yes.
Went to high school and everything there?
High school, and then I came over here afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you go here?
So I was recruited by SMU at first.
Right.
And when I got in, so I got in January of 2004.
Yes.
And in
On
February.
a track scholarship?
Yes. And then a month later, they announced that the men's track program was going to be canceled at the end of the season. So I stayed for a semester at SMU, and then I transferred over here afterwards. Yeah.
Did you get recruited to come here? Or?
I did. So the recruitment process when you're this young is based on how well you do in the world, pretty much. So they look at the rankings and they kind of start sending letters.
Yeah. At that age, were you already ranking high?
So yes. So at the age of 16, I remember I was number 2 in the world for my age group. And then I kind of fell through.
In what event?
In the high jump, yes.
All high jump?
Yes. And then I kind of fell through, kind of disappeared for a little bit. I mean, I was still there, but I was probably like amongst the top 30, 40 in the world for that age group, which is great. But, if you want to be top 10, top 8, it doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
And so, I got a few letters and I came to the U.S.
So was UTEP already winning track and field back then, or?
Yes, I mean, back then it used to be the WAC. And so in the WAC, I mean, they were pretty successful. Mm-hmm. So when I made the decision to come, I took a visit here. That's the only place that I visited throughout.
How come?
So I was hesitating between staying at SMU because we had the option to stay, not compete for the full 4 years, but get our education. But I wanted to compete. That was my first semester in the U.S. Mm-hmm. So I took a visit.
Competing more important to you than the education?
Both. Yes, both, because that's what I came for. I mean, I cared about the education, but I was really focused on track. And so I had missed the 2004 Olympics. And so my goal was to make it to the 2008 Olympics. And so in my head, I had 4 years to make it. And this is the only place I took a visit. I was supposed to visit USC, but I ended up not going. The coach was not really talking to me at the time. I mean, he wanted me to come, but there was not that much interaction. So I spoke to Coach Kitchens, who used to be the head coach.
Forever.
Exactly, one day. And he told me, he said, look, if you come, we'll make sure you'll be a national champion.
Wow.
That resonated, very strong, and I committed.
Yeah. You stay in the dorms, or?
I stayed at the dorms, yes.
Yeah, the whole time?
Yes, the whole. No, actually, the first 2 years, and I think I moved out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the highest you've ever jumped?
7 feet 8 inches.
Okay. When I was in high school, which was 50 years ago, I had the city record in the high jump.
Really? Nice.
5 feet 11 inches.
Hey, back then that was it.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I was a flopper. Were you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You did it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of trained also to different styles just to enhance the Fosbury flop. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were at UTEP, did you win?
So I did.
In your individual event?
Yes, I did. So in college I did long jump, triple jump, and high jump.
Wow.
And I set pretty strong marks also in the other 2 events. In the long jump, I mean, probably wouldn't have been able to win nationals, but I think I placed 3rd or 4th one year. I was trying to do the double, high jump and long jump at nationals. And then my last year, we decided to just not be greedy and just focus on the high jump. And I did one.
And you won the high jump?
Yes, in 2008, yes.
As a senior?
As a senior, I jumped 7 and a quarter, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you go to the Olympics?
So I went...
When was your senior year? What year was that?
2008.
Okay.
And so I had redshirted 1 year because in 2007 I tore one ligament. I tore a ligament in my ankle, which really affected my jumping. I couldn't plant, I couldn't take off. So the coaches decided to redshirt me, which I think that was the best decision, because at conference, I used to do all 3 events, high jump, long jump, triple jump.
Sure.
And then I would go to national and try to complete the double, because we had the opportunity to possibly win.
Yeah.
And so as a team. And so we ended up finishing 5th, I think, in 2006. And then 2007, I got hurt. And then I came back, and 2008. So 2008 was also the Beijing Olympics. And I competed at the Beijing Olympics. And then 4 years later at the 2012 London Olympics as well.
Yeah.
Where I made the final.
Yeah. So what do you think about college athletics today when you look back at your college with the name, image, and likeness and all that? What do you think about it?
You know, I think it's a good thing. You know,
You do? You like it?
Yeah, I think so. You know, there's less complaints from the athletes. I think it also prepares you, I think, for what it is to be a professional athlete. So, you know, you're halfway there. I think it's a good thing. I see positive things. I can see why people would be kind of doubtful about it, because at a young age, I mean, it can kind of mess up the athleticism. I mean, you're not really competing anymore to be the greatest. You're getting your money, and maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing overall.
And you'd like the transfer portal as well?
Well, transfer portal is different now. I mean, I'll tell you, the only thing that I don't like about the NIL and the transfer portal is that it seems to only give the advantage to the big schools. And so you can have a kid, for example, come to UTEP for a year or 2 years, and then he's going to be attracted by the NIL, and he's just going to go to the next big school. So it's just another way to recruit great athletes for the bigger schools, which have more money.
You know who Phil Knight is?
Sorry?
You know Phil Knight?
Yes, Nike.
Nike guy?
Yeah.
He gave the University of Oregon or Oregon University, whichever it is, unlimited NIL.
Oh, you see? Well,
unlimited.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can literally say, there's a quarterback in Florida, let's go get him.
Yeah.
Buy him a house, buy his mom a house, do whatever. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I was endorsed by Nike for a while, so that's how I know Phil Knight. But yeah, I mean, you know, it really leverages. I mean, it allows you to leverage just so much more.
Did Nike take good care of you?
I'd say, you know, looking back, it was a different era. You know, I went into professionalism expecting something, and I quickly realized what it was about. And you know, even now that I coached a few athletes, I get them ready to what it is to be a professional athlete, which is on the brand side. If they can get you for as less as possible, they'll do it.
Right.
And they're not trying to give you a favor to do you a favor. And a lot of the athletes go in thinking, well, I made this performance, I'm worth this much, and they should be giving it to me. They're not going to give it to you.
Right.
Because they want to get as much as they can for nothing. This is a business.
Right.
And so, you know, I quickly realized that that's what it was. I mean, when you think about the gears and everything was great. I mean, they took care of me that way. I was with Adidas for a few years, and they really took care of me as well. Yeah.
What was it like to compete in the Olympics?
So honestly, 2008 was an amazing experience because that was my first one. I think it could have gone even better. I think I was second, not making it to the final. But just coming into a stadium with 90,000 people screaming, I mean, amazing experience. I mean, you can't, I mean, again, you know, now that I'm away from the track, you'll never get that feeling anymore. You know, like you're jumping and the entire crowd explodes. I mean, these are things that it took me a while to get over, but amazing experience. And so...
so was the first one special?
First one, yes, very special. Second one was very different because I was going into it with the chance of medaling, and I knew it. So the dynamics were different. Mm-hmm. Even the experience itself. I went in and I was focused, and I didn't really enjoy the Olympics like I did enjoy the first one because it was all business. Mm-hmm. So And I really appreciated the 2012 Olympics. I mean, I think it was an amazing experience as well. But the first one has like a different
Sure.
taste. Yeah.
Where'd you end up in 2012?
I think I made the final. So briefly, just to explain how it works, qualification round you have between 40 and 50 jumpers jumping on two pits at the same time, and the top 12 make it to the final. And I think this day we were 12 or 13, and so I made it to the final 2 days later, and I think I was 12. I think I was maybe the first one or the second one exiting the competition. So I jumped 7.5 and 7.5 and 7.5 and 3/4, which was the next bar, medaled.
Yeah.
And I knew that had I cleared that at the first attempt, I knew I was going to medal, and I didn't.
So did your career continue after the 2012 Olympics?
Yes, actually, so
'Cause you're out of college.
yes, after 2012, so up to 2013, my personal best was still 7.7 and a quarter, which was established at the NCAA championship in 2008. And then in 2014, I broke the French national record, which was 7.7 and a half, and I jumped 7.8.
Wow.
So I kept going, but I think after 2014 I should have stopped. So I kept going all the way to 2017.
Why do you feel you should have stopped?
Because mentally I wasn't there anymore. The
You
way
didn't have the competitive edge.
Yes, and mentally, so when you think about it, I left France. I left France to go to the US in 2004. 10 years later, I break the French national record. Throughout the entire time, like 10 years, the French Federation really didn't make it easy for me. And so it was always kind of like the motor. I need to break the French national record because I have all the national records from the youth all the way to the seniors.
Still?
Yes. But this one was missing. And I had been fighting for so much throughout these 10 years, whether it's for contracts, whether it's with the federation to allow me to go to major championships. They wouldn't want me to go because the publicity was around the NCAA system. Right. And not the federation system.
Right.
And so it was just so much to fight for during those 10 years. Then when I broke the national record, mentally I wasn't there. But I couldn't realize. And a friend of mine at the time told me, he's like, hey, like 2 weeks later, he told me, you know what? You're different. And I said, no, I'm still there. He's like, no, you're different. You don't have that. You're not hungry anymore. And I was like, no, I'm good. And sure enough, I now looking back, I should have stopped.
Really?
Yeah. And then I injured myself like a week before the last cut for the 2016 Olympics. I was in great shape, but I got hurt, and I think it was mental.
So you did 2 Olympics?
Yes.
Yeah. Are the biggest moments in your career?
Well, between the Olympics, so I had a really good run between 2009 and 2012. I'll say 2008 to 2012. I had an amazing run because in 2005 I was 5th at World Championships. Then 2010 I got hurt. 2011 I had 2 years where I broke a ligament in my ankle again, a tore ligament. And then 2012 I came back, was 3rd at European Championships 2 months before Olympics. And then Olympics I knew I could medal. So yeah, I had a good run. And then after that, after 2014 it was downhill. And plus, from 2013 to 2014 I had lost a lot of weight to try to increase my power to strength ratio, power to weight ratio, and I think I had given it all.
Did you finish your education at UTEP?
Yes, so I had finished right after, so 2007 I had graduated with my bachelor in biology, and then I had jumped right into an MBA in business administration, like just international business, MBA in international business. And so I completed that in 2009. And so after that, I was kind of free and just focusing on track.
And you stayed here?
I stayed here, yes. I met my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and we had kids. And that was great for me.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
So, we have 5 girls.
Wow.
My wife, we had 5 girls. So the oldest is 24, and then 19, 13, or soon to be 6, and then 4 and a half. Yeah.
Well, a bunch of girls.
Yes,
I had
all
4
girls.
boys.
Oh wow.
All boys, yeah. I want to thank our sponsor for this week's episode. It's Jersey Mike's, primarily in Las Vegas, Nevada. They've been very good to us, and if you haven't had one of their sandwiches, you don't know what you're missing.
What makes a Jersey Mike's sub? It's the store-cooked certified Angus roast beef and fresh baked bread. Deli cases loaded with meats and cheeses, sliced right in front of you and piled high on our giant-sized rolls.
They make them right in front of you.
With lettuce, onions, and tomatoes.
Makes my mouth water.
But you'll never know a Jersey Mike's sub until you experience one for yourself.
You have to try one.
Jersey Mike's, authentic sub since 1956. Taste and believe.
So you get done with school, you get married, you start having girls. What'd you do with a biology degree?
So you know what? At this point, I was really focused on track, and then fun story. At the time, it was not that funny. But now looking back, I'm a big believer. First of all, I'm very like Christian, Catholic. But I always think that things always happen for a reason. And back then, when I was walking away from track in 2017, I really was not really focused on using my biology degree. What I wanted to do was coaching. And so I applied at different high schools and different places, really, just to get a job. I went on and got my my certification to teach math, to teach French, to teach different things. And then one opportunity came up, but I was in France at the time. I was enjoying the break with my family, and I was not able to get back the next day. So I passed on this opportunity. And then I think I applied to 4 different positions, and I never got recruited.
You're in El Paso?
Yes, in El Paso. To different places, and even wanted to coach in college. And so I put that away, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm tired of it. I'm just gonna going to apply to somewhere where I can use my degree.
Yeah.
Which was at the hospital, the hospital of Las Palmas and Del Sol, healthcare. And so that's what I went in. Yeah.
And what'd you do there?
So I did, for 6 years, I was the director of outreach. So over both hospitals, I handled the relationships between Las Palmas and Del Sol and all the outlying facilities outside of El Paso.
Yeah.
For tertiary care, mainly, building connections. And then I transitioned, recently I just transitioned over the VP of Business Development.
Are you still working there?
I'm still working there as a VP of Business Development role now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what do you do in that role?
So it's a lot of strategy for both hospitals. Work closely with the CEOs and the leadership team on how to run the strategy. How to make sure that the strategy is applied, and yeah, that's.
Was it an eye-opener for you to see how much business is involved in medicine?
Yes. So you know what? When I started with the outreach role, it was very different from my home country, which was France, because over there it's universal healthcare. But yeah, very different. And to see the business side of it, at first I was not too comfortable, but I just got, it grew on me, and I understand the why behind it. There's a lot of also quality metrics that are involved. Las Palmas and Del Sol are very big on quality and the type of care that we provide.
Do you do any physician recruitment?
So I don't do it personally. I work with the physician recruitment people to target the right physicians. Yeah.
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 So is the hospital growing?
Both hospitals are growing. In this market, the city, it's very competitive. All hospitals are trying to expand their footprint. All hospitals are growing. We're doing great. But again, I don't think we do a good job of explaining to the public how good of a care we provide. We're the best in the city in that matter. But yeah, we're just trying to do a lot better.
Yeah. So you're working and everything else, but it wasn't enough. You had to still be involved in track, huh?
That's my heart. That's where my heart is.
Sure.
And this thing happened again, just like this. And
how did it happen?
Yeah. So I come back to the US. I decide to put my track career aside, and a friend of mine at the time had decided to stop coaching, and he had a group. So this group of athletes reached out to me and said, you know what, we want you to coach us. And I was like, look, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to be in France. I'm going to go back to the US. It's going to be hard. I was like, well, you know what, we'll follow you. And I was like, look, let's explore different options first. I got in touch with the federation, and I tried to tell the federation, I'm trying to place these athletes within the federation infrastructure so that they can grow and develop. At the time, nobody at the federation believed in them, and so they turned them around. Well, I told them, you know, throughout my career, the publicity around me was always around the NCAA system, the American system. This is what's going to happen if I take these athletes over to El Paso and they succeed.
Right.
I know you guys are not going to like it. I just want to make it clear. So they came over and it just skyrocketed. So at first I had a few athletes doing amazing. And then...
In the federation?
The federation was still mad at me.
They were still mad at you?
Oh, they're still mad to this day.
Really?
For some reason. And like, it's never the same team, leadership team. But again, when you think about it, everything is centralized, where the money comes from the government, gives the money to the federation, and then the federation pours the money into the federal equipment.
Yeah.
Well, you're not part of this. You're out of it, and so you're coming with that American mentality. And so these athletes that are performing every time is the Hanany Olympic project. It's the U.S. So at the same time, the government is asking, okay, where's that? How come these guys are succeeding and they're not part of your, your structure? They're from the US. And on top of that, I'm French. And so there's always this battle between the federation and I, and it's been going on for 20 years, and I don't think it's going to stop.
Well, do your athletes get compensated?
Yes, they do. Very little from the federation. I'd say, up to the Olympics last year, I had about 12 athletes. I was coaching about 12 athletes. Now I'm not as much involved anymore because work takes all my priority, works and the family. So I decided to shift my focus. But I still help with writing the workouts for the athletes. And so now it's like just 4 of them. They get compensated. So 2 of them get compensated by the federation, French Federation. And then I have another one 2 other ones that are not compensated. And so they're just trying to make ends meet.
Are they talented?
Very talented.
What do they do?
So now I have 2 400-meter runners, and then 3 400-meter runners, and then 2 guys who are on the short sprint, like the 100 and 200s.
Sure.
So I only have guys now, very talented. 4 of them went to the Olympics.
Wow.
And the one who didn't make it to the Olympics right now just ran the 3rd fastest ever, time ever in France indoors.
Wow.
Which for him is amazing because he came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And for some reason I have this ability to kind of flip careers, and that's why people come see me. It's like as a last resort.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what? Let's go see Mike and see what happened. That's the last try.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How often doesn't work out?
Honestly, it's worked out. So last year I had 12 athletes. Out of the 12, probably just 1 didn't perform.
Wow.
Perform to the expectations. But it's been worth. I'll say I almost have a 100% turnaround.
And is it an actual club?
So the guys last year came up with the name, the Hanany Olympic Project. They chose it. So there was nothing egotistical around me. They came up with the name, and so I'd like to take it to that level, to like being a club. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
But then it would involve a lot more people because I can't spend that much time coaching. Yeah.
Do they train all year?
Almost. They take this year. They took a 2-month break after Olympics because the season was really long. So I'd say for 10 months.
How'd they do in the Olympics?
It was pretty well. It went pretty well. One made it to the final in the high jump. I no longer coach her. I had the guy on the 200 making the semifinal, and then the other guys ran the relay, and I mean it was pretty good overall.
Did you go?
I did.
Yeah.
It was in Paris, and I was not gonna miss that one.
I bet not.
Yes.
They put on a good show too, Paris
It
did.
was pretty good. I was surprised.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. They did a good job.
Really good.
So how does it work today with your athletes? Where do they train?
So we train throughout the city. We don't have a designated track. We try to find a track where we're not going to bother the high schools,
Right.
because we train at high school facilities. And yes, we're trying to fit wherever we're not going to bother anybody, wherever people are going to grant us access. And yeah, that's we try just to fit in.
Do y'all do any outreach, or
We don't.
you don't recruit?
I never recruited.
They come to you.
Yes, I never recruited. Never. It's a lot of it is word of mouth, but it's also the performances that the guys are putting on the track
Yeah.
that kind of force people to ask, like, who are you training with, or
Sure.
and so,
How long does it take you to identify talent?
I mean, it takes me a few seconds.
Really,
you
not
know.
very long
Yeah,
at all.
not very long. I mean, I can see it right away whether there's a potential or not. But then, the funny story about that athlete, his name is Adrien Koulibaly. He just ran the third fastest French time indoor. And for this guy, for example, I had never seen him. He wrote a message to me one day on Instagram. That was like 3 years ago, and he wanted to come and train. So I looked him up online, and his performances were not great. So I would have never picked him. And then he wrote to me, I never answered. Somebody from the group told me maybe 2 months later that he had written to me, and so I went back and checked. I was like, oh yes, I forgot to answer him. Another month went by, I didn't answer him. And then the same person came back to me and said, hey, have you responded to him? And I said, no, you know what, let me call him. So I asked for his number and I called him, and that's the truth. We spoke, and he told me, he's like, so do you think I can come and join your group? And at first I was gonna say no, but I'm very like, it's not mystical. There's nothing mystique about it. It's just my gut. And the sound of his voice seemed to be matching with my personality.
Yeah,
That I said yes. I would have never picked a guy like this,
really.
because he was not, his performances were not there.
Yeah,
But I picked him, and because I felt like there was something, and yeah.
that's crazy.
So I go a lot with my gut, yeah.
Yeah. Do any of your girls do athletics?
Yes, the girls are very, very athletic. So the 19-year-old, she just went to Notre Dame right now. I mean, she's a freshman at Notre Dame. She was playing basketball. She was at El Paso High. She did amazing. The 13-year-old is also playing basketball. And then the little ones, we're trying to figure out where they are, but they try to do a lot of things. I mean, one day they play basketball, one day they play soccer. I mean, yes, they're very athletic.
What's your oldest doing?
The oldest, she's at UTEP right now. She just came back. She was in Santa Fe. She completed her bachelor, and now she's doing her master's at UTEP.
What's she doing?
Master in psychology, yes.
Interesting.
Or philosophy. It's one of them. I always get them mixed up. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the future for your club?
So, initially, when I went to the Olympics, I really wanted the group to be sponsored by a company, because that's the deal breaker, I'd say. For them to get to the next level, for example, we need a machine. We've needed a machine for the past 2 years.
What kind of machine?
It's a machine that does a lot of overspeed. It helps with overspeed. It helps with also power distribution on the ground. And it really helps the athlete develop and take it to the next level. And we've needed that machine for 2 years, but we haven't gotten the money for it. And
What does
the
that
machine's
machine cost?
It's like 16,000.
Yeah.
And so the goal, the next step for this group is to get either a sponsorship by a company, just to get equipment, or to help with the athletes traveling. Sometimes some of the athletes that are not funded, they need that money sometimes to travel.
Right.
And so most of the time it's either it's on their own money. I mean, some of the guys work, so they work, they train, they work, they train, and it's not ideal. And so, like Adrien, going back to this guy, he works, and then he goes and train, and so Sometimes he takes a few days off just to be able to recover. But when it comes to him, like traveling, going overseas, and he pays out of his pocket. So.
Yeah. Where does he work?
Sorry?
Where does he work? What does he do?
So he works at a coffee shop.
Yeah?
Coffee shop. Very, very easy thing. I mean, but he's a very smart guy. He used to work, when he was back in Europe, he used to work for a tech company out of California. And so very smart guy.
So your athletes must love what they're doing, to do what they're doing, to go through what they're doing.
Exactly. This guy used to make 6 figures.
Yeah.
He quit to live the dream for a few years, and he's doing it. And he's
working
making
a coffee shop.
Exactly. You see, that's very humbling, but also coming from these athletes, like I always tell people, I have a duty to make them succeed or successful, because these guys are putting their professional career aside to do track, which track doesn't pay a whole lot unless you're part of the top 10 in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you still follow UTEP track?
All the time. Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
Are they still good?
They're getting back to a good level. They had a few years of drought. It was not all that, but I think they're on the right track. They're starting to recruit better. They just got 2 new coaches that are really good. So yeah, I think
they
they're on the
take
right
good care of you?
Yes, UTEP. Oh yes, amazing. I mean, again, like I'll always be thankful to Coach Kitchens. To
he was
UTEP.
a great coach.
Oh yeah, to UTEP. He had hired. So the funny story again, when I was recruited by him, so I committed, I think in May of 2024 to start in August. Well, the coach who was here had left. He decided to leave. And so I showed up in August and there was no coach. And so Coach Kitchens promised me to recruit a coach, a really good coach. And he did, in the name of Calvin Robinson, who's now at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And who's doing amazing. So yeah, I'll always be thankful for these guys and to UTEP. Yeah.
But it's a good program.
It's a great program. I mean, even the school is amazing, and the school keeps growing. UTEP is amazing.
Yeah. We'll take a break here and come back and talk about some special things that happened to you at the Olympics. Here's a word from our local sponsors, Tax Matters.
Don't let this tax season get the best of you. Let Tax Matters provide you the help you need with your financials. We provide total financial services to individuals, business owners, executives, and independent professionals. Utilizing our services, Tax Matters will work with you to optimize your business and minimize your taxes. We'll work to provide you and your business with the tools and resources you need to build a solid tax and business foundation. If you want financial help that's affordable, experienced, and friendly, call Tax Matters today for a free initial consultation.
So the Super Bowl's this weekend. Is that a big deal in France?
It is.
American football's big?
Yes, it is. It's even bigger now. When I was young, I used to wake up at 4 in.the morning to be able to watch the Super Bowl. So it's always been big, but it's getting even bigger now.
Really?
But yeah, I love the Super Bowl. I mean, and there's so much commercials going on.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yes, everybody, we're all waiting for the commercials. So I haven't gone online yet to kind of see.
Yeah, I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, that's why I haven't checked yet. But yeah, it's very interesting and I love it. Yeah.
So what's it like to go to the Olympics as a competitor?
It's.
Do they take good care of you?
Back
or are you
then,
on your own?
No. Back then, the federation and the Olympic Committee takes really good care of you because it's one of the major events, watched all around the world. So they make sure that you're well taken care of. I think when I went through it, it was really good. I think that now it's not as good as it used to be, and I've heard it, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it sounds like it's not as it's not the same way, So again, everybody will tell you about fast food that's open 24/7 within the village. That was not the case in Paris. That's the fun part. But yeah, I heard that it's not the same as it was. Yeah, but it was amazing.
Are you a celebrity in France?
I wouldn't say celebrity. I'd say during the good years, I was, yes. I mean, I would walk in the street and people would recognize me, especially in Paris. But track is a very small. It's a niche market. It's very small. It's not like soccer. It's not like basketball. So unless you follow track, you won't recognize me. I mean, you won't know who I am, and
Yeah.
even the youngsters now. I mean, you'd have to really be passionate about track to know who I am. So
Yeah.
and back then I really liked living in El Paso because I didn't have to deal with that. Nobody knew what I was doing, and I could train, and track is not as big, so it was really beneficial for me to stay in El Paso.
Does UTEP still have a strong Nigerian?
So
component?
Yes, they still have a few.
Yeah.
Still have a few. Maybe not as much as when
Those guys can
competitions-
run,
Yeah,
huh?
yes, not as much back then. Maybe not as much as Kenyans as well.
Yeah.
But they're still there. They're still there. It's a tradition, I'll say. Yeah.
So do you still work out?
Still works out. I still work out. Sorry. I try to do what I can because your body doesn't let you do whatever you want to.
You run?
I run and I lift. So I try to keep the cardio up and I still lift a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you? I mean, I didn't ask you about the Super Bowl weekend.
It's a big weekend.
Who
isn't it?
are you going for?
I'd love to see Philadelphia
Really?
win. Just, everybody hates the winner, right?
Yeah,
The
as
Chiefs.
usual. Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win?
I really think the Chiefs are going to win.
I think they are too.
Yeah. I think the team is well-rounded. The coach, I mean, talking about UTEP's tradition.
He was
you
here.
know, he was here.
And he was at El Paso High.
Yeah. So I think he's just such a good coach. But then again, Philly, I mean, they are amazing. They're having
Sasquan Barkley is
Yes, yeah.
stout,
Yeah.
stud.
Yeah, they're having a great year.
And a good quarterback. Jalen's a good quarterback.
Yeah, and tough guy. And I'll be happy if they win too, So.
Yeah. Who are the big football teams in France? Who's, like in Texas, everybody wants the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll tell you, it varies. I think I really think that if you're into football and into American football, you'll kind of look at the technical aspect of it. I'm sure that, probably a lot of people are going for Philly because they are the underdogs.
Right.
But, when you look at the story of Jalen Hurts, going from Alabama to, I forgot which school he went to, and then making it to the Oklahoma. Thank you. And then making it to the NFL, and people were still doubtful. And, fast forward a few years, and that's his second NFL final. I think people would probably like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the guy that took his spot, Tua,
Yes.
he needs to retire.
I agree.
He's getting hit in the head too
Yes,
much.
I agree. I think at this point, it's very easy for us to, to take that stance. But, at some point, I think you should try to enjoy your life. You have enough money to take
Sure.
care of your family for generations, and, maybe it's time. But again, who are we to tell him what to do?
Yeah. What other sports do you like?
Honestly, I watch everything. I mean, if I can. Now I don't have the time for it, but
You a basketball fan?
basketball fan. I mean,
So what do you
talking
think of the
about-
Luka trade?
That's a crazy trade. That's a crazy trade.
It's a weird trade.
It reminds us how much of a business it is.
Yeah, a business.
It is a business.
When you're Anthony Davis and you're not,
they don't tell you
and you're not secure.
exactly. And from one, you learn about it throughout your press conference. I mean, not even press conference. Just they're interviewing you, and then hint, you're getting traded, but you're not. They don't tell you officially.
Yeah, but he's lucky he went to a good team. I mean, he could have gone to a loser
Oh yeah.
because they don't care.
Exactly. Yeah, which is crazy. But again, it's a business. Once you understand that mentality and that business, I think you're better with it. And I think both players were kind of okay. I mean, not okay, but they understood that.
Who
it
got
was a
the
business.
better of the trade?
It's tough. It's really tough because I need to see how the players are going to play together. That's my main concern. I'm really skeptical about how Luka and LeBron are going to be playing together.
Yeah, they both want the ball.
Exactly. They like to control the game. I don't know how this is going to work out. And I think Davis, he's going to do fine in Dallas, with Kyrie.
I think in the short run,
Yes.
Dallas won the trade.
Yes, I think so. And Mark Cuban still has
His hands in
his
it.
hand in it, and he's a very smart man. And
Yeah.
so I think they did the best trade. I mean,
Yeah.
they're better
Dallas
off.
could win.
Totally agree. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the team is really good. Again, I don't know how Luka and LeBron are going to, and they can make it work, but somebody's going to have to give in.
Yeah, they got Luka now, so when LeBron goes, Luka will be the man.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
But
And I
the
think-
Lakers, as they are, even with Luka and
Yes.
LeBron, they can't win.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't have the big man.
Exactly. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Unless they recruit someone. I mean, it's very interesting, and I think they made it. I think the focus for them was LeBron and his son playing together. That was a huge marketing campaign. Then
What do
now
you think about that?
I think it's cool for the media, for the storyline, the legacy.
If his dad wasn't in the league, would he have gotten in the league?
Sorry?
If his dad wasn't in the league?
You know, I think he would have had to stay a little bit longer in the NCAA.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah, and then learn a little bit more, and then maybe go to the trade, to the draft. I don't think he would have gotten in at this time.
Yeah,
for sure, definitely not. But yeah, you know, I think it's marketing is a business, and I think, you know, the Lakers are going to sell so many jerseys. Everybody's going to come.
All that.
You know, so it's a business.
All that. Were you a Kobe fan?
Listen, Kobe is. I'm not. I never admire athletes because I was an athlete myself, and there's nothing egotistical around it. It's just that it's hard for me to get impressed by athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel like Kobe being a girl dad, me seeing Kobe come to the league as a youngster and develop, the Mamba mentality always resonated within me. And the girl dad connection, his speech, I mean, everything, I was always tuned in, like, with his mentality. And I have a lot of respect for his career. Like, that's one of the people that I wish I had met in my life.
Yeah.
When he passed, and again, that's me personally, for some reason it took a hit. I don't know why.
Yeah, I did too.
But it affected me for a while.
And you know, LeBron is no Kobe.
Listen, there won't be another Kobe. You know, you gotta have that aura around you. You gotta have that story behind you. Is different, you know. And to me, he's the closest to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
In terms of the mentality, you know, there's a lot of similarities between.
Is he your favorite athlete?
Kobe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's my favorite athlete. I think he's my favorite. The person that I would probably would have liked to meet. You see, I'm telling you, when Kobe died, I cried. And
It's 5 years ago, bud.
Yeah, and I don't have any.
I think it was on the 26th, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and like I don't have any feelings with anybody on earth like this, where it's like I feel some like a closeness, nothing. But it was just sad, you know. It's just like something that really like affected me. I was like,
How much did he compete?
And
he prepared. You had to
Yes.
admire his preparedness.
yes, I admire
The work ethic.
Yes, and you know, the guy would sleep just a few hours, train at 4, train at 9 after dropping up the kids,
Yeah.
train at 1, and taking naps. Look, the guy is a machine, you know. And
He
like
was
when you watch the documentary about, I think the 2012 Olympics, the Redeem Team on Netflix. I'm not sure if you watched it, but if you haven't, you should.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Kobe like he's an alien. They're like, look, we work out, but this guy is on another level. Like he's on another planet. Like the guys would come back from going out, and he'll be in the gym at 4 a.m.
Sure.
He's already in the gym.
Sure.
They have practice at 7, and he's already had practice, breakfast, ice, and he's going again to practice. Look.
Yeah. If Shaq would have been as dedicated, they would have won 10 championships.
Yes.
But Shaq was out of shape. Out of shape. And
yeah, they would have won back to back.
Yeah, they would have.
Easy. And Shaq now realizes it. Like
he does today.
He knows now.
He's in better shape today than when he played.
We were talking about it earlier. Like, had he had the discipline, they would have been unstoppable.
Yeah.
What a great duo. That was Kobe.
You like baseball? You like it all?
I like it all. I watch everything. To me, I'm amazed at like greatness.
Yeah.
like everything that's great, whether it's music. I mean, and again, you hear
Yeah.
and you see, and this is amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm amazed at the skills, like
Yeah.
the skill
Look at this
set.
guy Otani.
I mean, this
Come
guy,
on, man.
Yes, exactly. I
He's
mean, this guy
amazing.
is from another planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see what he's gonna do in the future.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, to me, like looking at how they throw the ball and how the ball spins, and to me, again, great. Like I'm amazed at skill set,
Yeah.
just overall. And you can have somebody doing pottery. I'll be amazed. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's what really catches my attention.
Greatness.
Yes, greatness, skill set, the different mindset as well.
Yeah.
Because I really think that we don't use our mental aspects or up to the magnitude that we could.
We don't.
We don't, and when you see that, that tells you that there's so much more to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed talking to you.
Listen, it's been great. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing me on board with
was
this.
nice.
And I really had a great time.
And we'll be following your track club.
Thanks, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right.